Who is your daddy?
I am your father.
You fathers will understand.
My father taught me many things.
I got an idea. How about you all sit there quietly while I make dad noises?
All right, so this is episode 174 of Fathers of the Grind. It's a podcast about gaming where a third of us don't even game, so it's really stupid. Sure. But anyways, I'm here. I'm the main host. I'm the main guy. I'm the main reason you listen to the show. My name is Derek T. How you doing? And I'm also here with Daniel Freitas. Say hi, Daniel.
Hello, my name is Daniel. Thank you for having me. I'm the foreigner. I'm the injection of uniqueness in the show. You're two white guys.
Yeah, okay, Ronaldo. Listen,
I like video games.
You like what?
Video games.
Oh,
I play.
Anyways, for the two people that listen to the show, if you actually missed him, he's not here right now. He's in a dark room just typing us messages and saying creepy things about us right now.
But there's like a small dim of light kind of illuminating his face, so he looks evil. Yeah.
But yeah, so he's not here. I don't know if he is going to be here. I honestly don't care. But I'm going to kick the show off with the question that we've always been wanting to know, and that is, Daniel Freitas, what are you playing right now? Like, not right now, but like the past week.
What am I playing with, or what am I playing?
I'm talking about video games.
Oh, okay. Well,
listen, now that I'm the host, I have to take this job serious.
Wouldn't you be surprised? I'm still playing some Super Mario Maker 2.
Oh, gosh, I tried to sell that thing. You know what? I couldn't sell my copy. You want to know why I couldn't sell my copy? Because I got it dirt cheap. You know why I got it dirt cheap? Because apparently I bought it from Europe and didn't know that.
Wait, so is Switch not region free?
No, it's unlocked. But when I took it into GameStop to try to trade it in, they're like, "Oh, we can't take this." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Because it says Peggy 12 or whatever."
Yeah. Did you not notice the rating in the corner?
I didn't pay attention, to be honest with you. And then I was like, okay, when I left the store, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take the game out of the case and go to another GameStop and just bring in the game without the case. Because surely the little, rectangle does not have Peggy on it. Nope, it does. I'm like, are you freaking serious?
Of course it does.
It's ridiculous.
You dope.
All right, so you're playing Mario Maker 2. Yeah. Are you still making trash?
Yes, I'm making delicious trash. It's very good. I'm actually at the tail end of my newest one, so that will be up tonight or tomorrow. It's very cool. It's very snowy. It's mysterious. And that's about all I'll say. So
that's the only thing you're playing?
No, well, did you listen to last week's episode? Or
I really didn't.
Because you weren't there because you don't care, you're self-centered, so...
that I cannot deny. That's actually 100% true.
No, I started Tales of Vesperia last week.
Okay, you bought that on PS4?
Yes.
Since you don't have the superior console, and you could enjoy the game in native 4K.
You mean well, is it on... Did it re-release on Xbox One? I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, Xbox One's now getting all the JRPGs now. Okay. Finally.
Well, because I know it was originally released on the 360, not on the PS3 until the Japanese version, blah, 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 blah. I just wasn't sure if the Xbox One got the definitive edition or whatever it's called. So, but yeah, I'm a couple more hours into that. It's very good. It's getting a bit better. It's picking up a bit. I'm in like a harbor town, and the music's very ominous, so there's some kind of shady things going on. So there's something a little more unique going on, because the beginning was kind of just setting up most of the main characters. I think maybe there's going to be another 2 or 3, and then the party's fully fleshed out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I think I mentioned last time, it's just giving me a lot of nostalgia vibes, a lot of like the kind of older RPGs, not super old like PlayStation 1 or 2, but...
Which one are you playing again? Tales of what?
Vesperia.
Okay, so it was Tales of
the guy with the longer hair.
Yeah, I played probably like 10 hours of it on Xbox 360.
Yeah. I'm liking it. I think
I like the dog. I forgot his name, but I like the fact that he has, He's always
Repeat?
smoking. Yeah, Repeat. He's always smoking, and he's not happy.
Yeah, no, he seems very cranky. So, but I like him too. He's pretty cool. But yeah, it's a good game. I don't dislike it. I think the combat definitely is lacking. But I like the story so far, and the characters seem cool. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're pretty boring.
Sure.
And we're gonna have to look to replace you because I'm gonna need you to, be like me. Buy like 27 games throughout the week, play 2.2 of them for about 30 minutes apiece, and that way when Tim asks you the question, "Hey, what are you playing?" you can pretend like you know what you're talking about. You really don't. And speaking of that, I am currently playing Wolfenstein Youngblood, which I actually have played it a good amount. But I am kind of getting I'm kind of getting tired of it, to be honest with you, because
Wolfenstein?
yeah, here's the thing. And if Tim was on the show, he would be able to talk about this as well, because I know he's playing it. But I bought the game. I've said this before on previous shows. I don't really research games anymore. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm interested in that, and I just buy it. Unless like the reviews, like unless I haven't paid for it before reviews come out, and the reviews are like completely destroying it, but I've yet to buy a game where reviews are completely destroying a game. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is I didn't do a lot of research on this. The only thing I thought this was a Wolfenstein game with a campaign where you could do co-op. So I was kind of thinking in my head like Halo 2 type style. Like, hey, Wolfenstein's got this strong story-based, now they do, these strong story-based campaigns, and all we're doing is, instead of you playing it single player, you can play it multiplayer or co-op. So I was like, this sounds amazing. Plus, it looked like from just watching a couple of trailers, I was like, this looks like it's less reliant on stealth. Not that they force you to, well, they kind of force you to do stealth, but you could still run and gun in that game a lot. It just was really hard if you did it. And in this game, it looked like it was like, hey, you can stealth if you want, but because you have a co-op partner, it's really not necessary. Like, you can get through difficult places as long as you're healing each other and working together. Anyways, that being said, is it that? Yes, but in a way, for me, it's not. It's almost like I feel like I'm playing Destiny. Like, I go in, and once the game opens up and you go to your, like, hub world, you pick all these, you pick these locations, so it's not open world, it's like open area. You pick the locations, and there can be like multiple objectives. So you might pick one main story mission, but then there's like 9 objectives that might come up while you're playing that you can go do that are like side missions, and you earn XP and all this stuff. And so it really just feels like I'm playing the game just to level up my character. That's it.
Right.
I don't feel like I'm playing a story-based game. I don't feel like I'm going through the game. And in the beginning of the game, I would have told you, this is story-based because they have cutscenes and it feels like you're playing a story. But as I've gone through and probably put in 10 plus hours, I don't feel like I'm playing Wolfenstein. I feel like I'm playing, I don't want to say Destiny because that's misleading, but semi, like a
the way it
Destiny
plays
Light.
Destiny.
Yeah, it sounds like Destiny Light to me. Like, it even has like some of these missions that are called raids. So that feels like, they're trying to get into that, like, get away from just being a single player story game and get into where they're forcing this multiplayer, and they want this redundancy because they want you to get addicted to the loop of leveling up your character, because you can level up your characters not just number wise, but you actually pick all these, like, they have 3, I think it's mind, strength, and something, I don't know. But there's these 3 areas that you can go into, and there's attributes that you can click on and unlock. And then there's also all these unlockables for your guns. So there's like 4 or 5 unlockables for guns, and then as you level up your character, then you can actually leveling up your guns again. So it feels more like, as I keep talking about it, it's sounding more and more like Destiny. So, like I said, I think the gist of the game is just to hook you in that loop of leveling up your character, leveling up your weapons, and just having this chaotic gameplay. So from that aspect, it is fun. And I would definitely tell people that like the Wolfenstein gameplay, to buy this game at some point. If you haven't bought it yet and you're interested in it, get it. Now, if you're going, well, like, I know Jesse White is anti-co-op. Like, he won't, not anti-co-op. He's anti-playing anybody random. But in this game, the good news is that you're not even forced to play with a random. Like, it's not like I have to play with somebody else. I leave my game on public. I leave it on public, so if somebody wants to join, like I had a guy who was a level 57 the other night join me, and I was like, okay, he's just destroying everything and its mom. And he knew where to go, because he was just like, because some of the levels you can get lost in. So he was real good to play with, but even if I wasn't playing with him, if I just left it private, you do get a computer AI, and they're good.
Yeah.
They're not terrible. They're not. There's been time, of course, they're definitely real sisters. It's not made up fake characters that are ran by programs. But basically, there was a couple times where I'm like, okay, I'm down, and you're right by me. What are you doing, biatch? And she was just like, dancing around. I'm like, okay, are you going to come
you
save
talk
me?
to your sister? That's rude.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that is.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, I would say overall, Wolfenstein Youngblood's pretty fun. It's not amazing. I'd say it's good. I think it's worth the money. It's not an expensive game. You can get it for $30 brand new, $40 if you want a friend to have free access to your copy, plus you get some digital bullcrap with it. But I know it'll be down to $20, $15 probably in a month. Not like permanently. Like you'll see it on sale. So I would say 100% it's worth getting it if you're interested at all. If you're not, this is not the Wolfenstein to play, because you're not going to get, to me, that I won't say epic. Epic's so overused, and none of the Wolfenstein games had an epic story. They had solid stories. They were good. They were they were voice acted well, and even the last one, Wolfenstein 2, basically, I think that's what it was.
New Colossus.
Yeah, New Colossus. But it was the second main one by these guys, Machine Gun Games. It had a nice plot twist that actually changed the gameplay and everything, and that was when I got hooked in that one. Because before that, I was like, this game sucks. It's annoying. I hate how retarded it is, and I ended up liking it.
It's a fantastic game.
So Wolfenstein Youngblood, that's been my main game. I'll just mention this just to piss off 3 of our listeners out of the 4. I'm still playing Rocket League. I play that more than anything. That's my main game. I don't game a lot, but when I do, I usually sit down on the couch, put on some heavy metal music, and throw Rocket League on there.
I bought the whatchamacallit, not the season pass, but whatever the pass is for like a certain challenge.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's like $10.
Yeah, because there was some stuff coming up that I liked, some skins for my car, and I was like, I kind of want those, so I paid the $10. I don't even care.
I did that too. I'd actually done it 2 seasons in a row. Jesse White was the one I was playing with him. He's like, yeah, I did it. And Jesse usually doesn't buy that stuff. He's a cheap part. He's like, I did it. And he showed me what he got. And even his son at the time, Noah, was on there. And he was like, hey, Derek, even though him and I talk trash all the time, he's like, do you want some of my extra stuff that he had gotten in it? And so when he started giving me the stuff, I'm like, this is cool stuff. And so I was like, $10? So I bought it. So I actually bought this past season. Has it ended yet, or is it ending soon? I don't remember.
I think it's the 27th. I think it ends August 27th.
Yeah, because I'm still unlocking stuff, so I don't know why I'm asking that, because I just played tonight. But anyway, so I'm like level 143. Like they show you everything you unlock until like 75, and then everything after 75 is like a secret. I've unlocked like 70 levels after that, because I just keep playing the game.
Yeah.
So
it's a great game. I mean,
Rocket League, and then the last one I want to talk about, I'm just going to talk about it a little bit because I've only played it a little bit. I actually bought last night the bundle Omen Sight and Stories, Path of something.
Destinies?
Path of Destinies. Okay, so I played Stories, Path of Destinies back when it launched. I didn't beat it, but I played a good amount of it, and I really liked it. I like the combat. I like the characters. I like the world. I like the art style. Yeah, Omen Sight, or whatever it's called, Omen Sight is very, very similar.
Yeah.
I would say right now, story-wise, and the way it's set up, it's the same type of setup. Like, stories, you do, like, a path,
Yeah.
and then they kind of, like, have you do the same thing over in a different way.
Yeah.
Omen Sight's set up the same way. Like, you're trying to solve this murder mystery in a way, so that's intriguing, by the way. So you, like, the beginning of the game, I had to select what character I wanted to go down this path to basically unlock some of the story and unlock some of the mystery and the investigation. So I did that first playthrough. It wasn't very long. And then it kicked me back in to let me know what I had unlocked, what I discovered through that playthrough. And then it was encouraging me to do the other one. So it's wanting you to repeat as you unlock to solve this mystery.
It's very similar.
The combat, here's what I want to say about this combat, especially with how good combat games have gotten with combat. It has some similarities. Of course, it has similarities to stories, but it has similarities to, like, they're pulling from, like, Batman and stuff like that, where they alert you that you're about ready to get attacked so you can dodge it and stuff like that. It's a little rough, though. It's not as smooth. Like,
not as smooth as stories?
no. To me, and I would have to go back and play stories, it feels slow and a little sluggish.
I don't think it was fast.
But still really, that's why I said I have to go back. Because I think I was having a conversation when I posted about it with Jeff Weinman, IDC, doesn't matter. You don't give a crap about his name.
Obviously.
But I was talking to him, and he was like, it's similar to Batman, like the Batman combat. And I was like, I could see it. So when I started playing it, I was like, okay, this is similar to Batman. It's just not as good, which is, I think, what he said. But again, IDC, doesn't matter. He's irrelevant. My point is that it's good, especially since I paid $6 for both these games, but it's not amazing. Like, don't go into it going, oh, Derek said this would play like Batman. It doesn't. But it's definitely solid. Hopefully, I'll have to look it up. Hopefully, it's sad that I'm like this. I look up games hoping they're short. I'm like, please be like 2 hours.
You're such an old man.
I really am. Like, I did log into Red Dead to jump back into my
so proud
Red
of you.
Dead Redemption playthrough because I'm in Chapter 6. And I'm like, okay, how far am I in Chapter 6? Because it's been 2 months since I played it. I'm like, oh, damn it. I'm in literally the first mission. So I'm, like, counting the missions, and I'm, like, overwhelmed. I'm like, you gotta be kidding. I still got, like, 40 missions? And so I just turned it off. I was like, I don't want to play this game.
I mean, honestly, just give it up because the one of the main strong points of that game is the story. And if you're not playing continuously, it's like reading like one book and like reading it throughout a whole year. Like that doesn't even make any sense. Like just read the book straight through.
I don't care. I do not care about the story.
Then just don't worry about it.
I don't care. The game is fun.
Yeah, but I mean,
my problem is
like for just the gameplay. Like it's slow and like.
Don't care about gaming that much. Like I was accurate in what I said. Yeah, it's really good.
And you're the best host.
All right, so look at the 3 games that I talked about tonight. I didn't talk about Rocket League long, but I mentioned it. Wolfenstein, Rocket League, and Omen Sight. Omen Sight, I probably will never play again. Let's be real. Oh, it's interesting. You're not going back to it there. So Wolfenstein Youngblood, I only play it because, again, I can put my metal music on, zone out, and just shoot things. Rocket League, put my metal music on, zone out, and play Rocket League. That's all I play now. So when I play like games like Red Dead and stuff like that, I'm like,
you're a complex
game
man.
gonna end?
There's just a lot of layers.
I wasn't always like this, and it's annoying. And it's almost like, it's almost like I just need to stop gaming because I just don't care. And I'm waiting for that funk to end because I'm like, maybe it's just all the stuff I went through. But, and I'm not out of it yet. Trust me, I'm not out of it. But I still am like, maybe I'm never coming back. Maybe
I gotta say something.
Old man here.
Yeah, so I made it.
Dad
Thanks for holding on the fort. Great job.
That was sarcasm, right? I'm really old, so I don't know whether that was sarcasm.
Did the stocks go back up, or?
I just heard Derek say a phrase that I just don't know if I can. He said, "You just trust me. just trust me. I'm not out of it yet. I don't know what to believe. So you just told us about. I mean, you're playing a lot of video games. It just happens to be mostly Rocket League and then a few others on the side.
Yeah.
You're still really playing a lot of games. So either you're lying to yourself and you're not having any fun at all, but you're spending a lot of time doing it, or you are having fun, but you're in a mode where you don't want anyone to think you're having fun playing something.
Honestly, I only have fun with Rocket League, and then I still get frustrated with that. Yeah,
Just
like
things that don't require a lot of
Wolfenstein.
attention.
Wolfenstein was fun for like 3 hours, and now I jump back in it, and if I die once, I'm like, I'm done. I don't even care. Like, I've hit that wall with that, and I said I played 10 hours, maybe. I don't know. But
If you play
I'm
10, you should be
level,
towards the end.
well, okay, so I'm level 25.
All right.
But I don't know what that means.
You need to be over level 30, definitely. Dude, okay, so I finished that game this week, and I know you already talked about it, so just forgive me for jumping back for a second, but final boss fight ups the ante no matter what difficulty you're on. I've been playing it on normal the whole way through. Wolfenstein games are tough games, so normal's a pretty tough setting.
Yeah.
Although I think there's either 2, possibly 3 more difficulty levels above that, so I feel like a noob, but whatever. So I'm playing it on normal. I get to the final boss fight, 5 tries in a row. I'm getting so frustrated, and they let you change the difficulty on the fly. So I went and changed it down 1. So it's basically there's like easy, casual, and then normal. So I put on casual, so it's not all the way on baby mode, and I was able to fight my way through it. Boss is still super tough on casual. Still super tough.
Well, it's probably the leveling system because now I bet you have to grind a bit.
I did. I was at level 38 when I started that fight.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Actually, if I'm being totally honest, I kind of had to learn the exact patterns. Like, like most bosses in big games, he has multiple phases. He or she, I don't know. They have multiple phases. I don't want to spoil who the boss is. And you just have to learn what each phase is. And then the final phase, I kind of had to cheese it using the environment where they couldn't quite hit me with this really, really powerful attack, but I could still pop out and get a bunch of shots off on them. So I kind of had to cheese it a little bit, which was kind of frustrating because most of that game feels great. I heard what Derek said earlier, totally agree. They let you do stealth if you want, but it's really not the way to play. I highly recommend just upping everything you can with all your skills, getting your guns as strong as they can, and just running in there and just ripping people apart. Stealth helps when you have to go through an area again and you're tired of fighting those same enemies. Then you could upgrade your little cloaking stealth and kind of sneak through some areas. Because he's right. It's exactly like Destiny. You've got a hub world, and when you go to an area, it's like an open area. You have to work your way back through areas you've seen multiple times to get to these missions. So yeah, stealth can help just save you time, but I don't think it's that fun of a way to play the game. The game's best when you're just running and gunning. So anyway, I did finish it. It's kind of interesting. It's pretty cheesy. I mean, all the Wolfenstein games are cheesy, but this one feels cheesier because these two sisters, they look like they're probably college age, but they talk and act like they're middle schoolers. There's these scenes when you're going down these elevators I talked about last week where they do like these little jokes to each other and they're like high-fiving or dancing to the music.
Yeah.
It's really cheesy.
They've kind of grown up in a unique environment.
I mean, they're homeschool. Let's be honest. They're homeschool kids.
That's the issue right there.
They're homeschool kids. But anyway, overall good game. To me, it's kind of in that same realm as something like Rage. If you really enjoy the gameplay, don't worry about the repetitiveness. Just have fun playing the game because it feels great. The guns are fantastic. All the different weapons you get. It's all really fun. The enemies are cool. The graphics are great if you're playing it on like a Xbox One or PC or PS4. I'm sure it looks great there too. So play it there. Looks nice. It's fun to shoot stuff. But just keep your expectations at that $30 level and you'll enjoy it. I saw that Metacritic has it in the 60s and 70s across platforms. That's close to right. It might be a little bit low. I think if you're grading it as a $60 game, I would certainly give it a 60, 65. It doesn't have enough for a $60 game, but as a $30 game, yeah, it's more like 75 maybe. So
again, I think it's a testing ground for what they might be doing with 3.
Yeah. They introduce a somewhat new concept at the end of this game, and it is part of the story, as weak as it might be, as weak as it is. They do introduce a new concept that kind of leads me to believe a direction they may be going in future Wolfenstein games. But anyway, all that to say, I finished it. I do like it, but I don't love it. I feel the same way about it as I do Rage. And I'm totally with Derek. I was finally at the point where I was like, I'm just going to log in and finish it. I know I'm at the final area. I know this is the last. I just want to finish this game. So I wasn't having as much fun, but still fun enough.
I think Derek needs like one of those kind of games that are just gonna be like that's just gonna blow his mind and he can't even be sarcastic about it. Like
Death
a Last
Stranding.
of Us 2
That's
or
what it's
something.
gonna be. Death Stranding, guys. Come on.
I was gonna say Last of Us 2.
The huge ladder. Huge ladder.
That's
So
what she
good.
said.
So good. Raise me up, girl.
So it's good, but it's not amazing. I will say this: if you've got I played it almost completely with AI partner, and they did fine. AI did fine, but there were certain moments. There's at least 2 bosses I can think of where if I had the ability to give them instructions or something, or if I had been playing with another human, we could have stayed on opposite sides of the arena for these certain battles and done a much better job, because there's a lot of the bosses, at least a couple of them, that you need to be able to attack them from a certain direction to hit a weak spot. So I wish that I could have given instructions or something to my AI, because there were times when she just followed me around, especially the final boss fight. If I had had a human being there who we could have coordinated our positioning, that would have been way easier, because there's a part where you really have to hit the back of the enemy, and it's just super tough because she keeps following you around like an idiot. So
yeah, well, at least you had somebody to follow you around like an idiot, which the demo didn't allow me to do because it said, "Hey, you can't have an AI companion. You're stupid. Buy this game." And I said, "Go to hell." So.
That was sounds like a good conversation you had with that video game there.
Yeah, it was very short, very brief.
Derek, do you recommend buying Omen Sight if people liked Paths of whatever, Destinies?
Yeah, if you have an Xbox, it's $9. That's on sale.
Oh, for both? You get both for $9?
For both those games.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's normally $30. Omen Sight by itself is $20 if you buy it at regular price.
I think
yes. The answer is yes. I mean, I haven't played it a lot.
Stories by itself is worth $9. It's a pretty fun game.
Sure. That's why I did it, because I don't actually own Stories. I got Stories through PlayStation Plus. I think you bought it, and I had access through that, and then I got access through PlayStation Plus. And then I was like, I like this game. I want to buy it at some point. Like, I was thinking about buying it on PC. Maybe I did. I have to check Steam.
Yeah.
But anyway, so when I saw that deal, I don't remember. Oh, it was in Unlocked. Somebody posted about it, and they were like, for $9 you can get these 2 games. And I was like, I don't remember seeing something about Omen Sight and saying to myself when it was coming out, like, I'm interested, because I knew it was the same devs, but I never bought it or did anything. And so I went back and started watching like YouTube videos on it. I was like, oh, this plot seems intriguing. I already know I'll like the gameplay. I like the art style. $9 for both. Do it. And I had $3 gift card, so I really paid $6.
Nice.
Yeah. That's a good
deal. That is a good recommendation, if that deal is still live when you folks are listening to this.
Still, well, yeah, when you listen to it, if you listen to it Monday, it'll be live.
Should be still
well, I'm
Actually, it's live for 2 weeks. That's right. When I bought it, it said this deal's active for the next 2 weeks.
You understand that you're playing an indie, right?
Yeah.
You're playing an indie.
I'm just ignoring you.
Not only is he playing an indie, Daniel, but he's encouraging anyone who's listening to also go support these indie devs. What a guy. What a stand-up guy.
I've really changed. Like this last year and a half has really changed me.
This is a good moment where we can go ahead and transition into the next conversation, and that is, Derek, let's talk about representation in games.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Now you've really seen me change. Like, I just want to see more female gay, short people, midgets in video games.
That combination specifically, huh?
And they need to be black and Chinese together.
Okay. Got it.
I've
got a very specific image in my head of what you're talking about. So there you go.
Yeah, I think it's important that we
You painted a detailed picture. Thank you.
What I really want is, here's what I really want. I want a video game about a transgender girl who is in high school and starts doing sports. So he is competing against other women.
Yeah.
And like, I want to be able to like dominate with he, and that be the video game. Like, just like after you beat them, you rub it in, bitches, I'm the better woman or whatever, but I'm not really a woman.
Derek, are you trying to tell us something? Or?
That's what I want in video games.
It's a great idea.
I want representation. Like, it's important for me to get that representation.
I know that's what's been missing. I think we're trying to solve this puzzle of the last 12 months or so, or a little bit more than that, of Derek in games. What's the conundrum here? What's happening with him? And I think it's that he doesn't feel adequately represented.
Right. Well, I
That's
think maybe
the
he
issue.
needs to transition first, so that we can all start understanding him better.
Well, he's already been doing he's been doing a little bit of the tight pants approach.
Yeah.
Or if he just squeeze everything in, he eventually transitions on its own.
Yeah, he's
So-
testing
Amazing. Like, can we talk about my pants for a second? I legit like them. I have a feeling in a few years I am going to look back at old pictures and be like, oh, Megatron, what
I really
is
wish that
going
would happen
on?
now. But
No.
What do you like about them?
I like how I look. I think they look good.
Oh,
They
but
feel
you can't-
good. They crush a little bit, but they
You
feel
can't
good.
possibly feel comfortable in those.
no.
I really do. I have gotten...
Dude,
a
there's no
technique.
way.
I have a technique that I do. A lot of people ask me, especially the women that I'm real close to, that they can be the real them and I can be the real me. They'll ask me like, "Where is it?"
And you
Like,
just tell
how
them,
is it?
"Hey, remember that villain from Silence of the Lambs? Similar approach."
You remember that part in Ace Ventura at the end?
Yeah. No, but seriously, I like how they look. I think I look good. They feel fine. But everybody else makes a big deal about it. And I promise, I know some people are like, "Oh, he does everything for attention." No, I don't wear, because trust me, most of the attention I get, and I know people like negative attention too, is negative. I don't get a lot of, "You look really good in those jeans." I get a lot of, "What the?" And it's mainly from women too. Like, "Why are you wearing this? Why are your jeans so tight?" As they're wearing tight jeans. So I never say it, but I just think in my head, I'm like, I love it. How all you
wait a
women are
minute,
about equality, but then you have a problem when a man.
Are you fighting for men's rights? I didn't realize this. You're fighting for men's rights.
Thank you. That's
Tim,
why
I wasn't sure
do
if you
it
know
for
this. That's a
equality.
thing. Men's rights is a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
All right. I am
100%.
so sorry. I feel so bad now for criticizing and making fun of. I didn't realize you had a cause. So.
Oh, it's
Hashtag me
definitely a
too.
cause.
Hashtag me too.
Definitely a cause.
All right. Well, now I feel better. Now I feel supported. I mean, not as supported as your business obviously feels most of the time, but I feel pretty supported.
There's been a few times where I thought I was giving myself cancer, but I have survived. I am doing okay. I'm being serious.
I'm
Like,
just,
there's a
I'm
couple
just happy
times where I was
that
just like,
we have a
"Geez,
voice out
Louise."
there fighting for us, Tim, you know,
Yeah.
because I'm too scared
Right.
to speak. You
I
know,
am
Derek-
too.
Well,
Fighting
eventually my voice, the pitch will go higher if I
That's
continue to fight this battle for you guys alone.
that's
But
true.
I do do it for the men. I
What a
want
guy.
you guys to feel comfortable in your tight.
Man.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for doing that.
It's an honor. It's an
So
honor.
I had one of those moments this week that I remember when I was a kid and I had these moments. It was super devastating, and that is I fired up a game that I had already had a save file in. I was ready to play it, and then realized that another family member of mine, who also happens to share that game and likes to play it, saved over my save file.
No.
So I ended up having to essentially restart Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. So I'd gotten a bunch of characters up in the high teens, so I wasn't at the end of the game or anything like that, but I was probably close to the halfway point. We were like level 18, 19. That's probably about 6 to 8 hours or so that was lost. So
How
not
does
the
that
end of
even
the
happen though? It's way more like there's more menus they're going through nowadays to delete save files. Like
They
yeah.
don't care.
It wasn't
They're
deleted.
savage.
It was saved over. So when you hit save, you actually pick which save file to.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
And they just picked this one, and it said, "Do you want to overwrite this one?" And they said, "Yes."
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they actually had 2 or 3 copies of their same save file.
So you know what you do is you save your save towards the bottom, like far away from the other.
That's what I did now. And I also said, "Hey, I've created all these profiles for you guys to use. Stop using mine."
Yep.
That's what you really have.
Also go to bed. It was 2 p.m. Everyone go to bed.
Yeah. Crack the whip, Tim.
So we've caught up over the weekend. We played some together, but I played a lot of it alone. This is actually a game that it's really fun to play multiplayer, especially when you got it on the lower difficulty. But it gets tough. I mean, timing certain things and communicating with each other can be frustrating, especially if they're 8 years old or whatever. So playing it single player, the AI does okay, not amazing. They do okay though, and they're really good at hitting the synergy attacks timings with you because the computer just does it automatically. So I found it much easier to kind of plow through the game solo. So I've got characters up and around the mid-20s now, like 24, 25, and I'm farther than I was before. I like this game a lot. Anyone who criticizes the story side of it, keep in mind, this is not trying to be the Russo brothers' Avengers movies. It is basically trying to be a pretty high quality Saturday morning cartoon storyline. So, and that's pretty much what it is, and that's why I really think I enjoy it. So I'm digging it for that. I think the storyline is fine. There's certain little moments in there that I actually think are pretty funny. I just got Deadpool added to my team. His whole intro scene is hilarious. Mild spoilers here, not really story, but for the experience, but just want to share it because it's funny. You're at the X-Men, excuse me, sorry, I got a cold. You're at the X-Men mansion, and Magneto sends Juggernaut in to just start trashing the whole mansion to go after the X-Men. And while he's chasing him through the building in the background and smashing everything, Deadpool is singing and dancing, making tacos in the kitchen. It's just a fantastic introduction for him. Yeah. So, and he's really fun to use, by the way. He's actually one of my favorite characters to use. He's really fun to use, and he's pretty funny. So, by the way, speaking of Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds, did finally watch Detective Pikachu with my kids tonight. We ordered that, and it was fun. It was a fun little movie.
I need to pick that up. I keep forgetting it's out on Blu-ray.
Really great visuals and pretty solid story. Really clever. Some funny lines. I liked it. My kids loved it too. So, highly recommend. And of course, I'm playing lots of Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Still haven't gotten to that big time jump section. I'm not in any hurry though. This is a game that I feel like I've got a really good feel for how much I like it. When it does come time to start ranking games and stuff like that, I'm just taking my time with it.
I have no idea how to even get to the next battle in Fire Emblem. I don't get me wrong, I didn't put a lot of effort. It was one of those where I'm like running around talking to people, and I'm like, all right, so how do I get to the next battle?
Derek, this doesn't surprise me at all. I couldn't help you figure out how to change your mic settings. Hey,
that was not my fault. Y'all made fun of me. Like, hey, oh boy.
Can you point where to go to the next battle so I can listen to metal music and just fight battles?
What I do like about it is when you go, just go back to your dormitory room and look at your kind of the main board in your dormitory room, and you can essentially select what you want to do there. You can, for the most part, skip.
It tells me, okay, so this is how you'll know how early I am. It tells me, I think the main mission is to go talk to, I'm forgetting now because I haven't played in like a week and a half, 2 weeks, but like talk to this guy. So I go out there and talk to him, and he's standing next to a girl, and they just have the same conversation over and over. I'm like, why does this thing keep telling me to go talk to them as if I'm going to go into a battle, and then it doesn't do anything? It just has the conversation, same one. It talks about like his hair. Oh, it's my dad. It's my dad and this girl. And the girl says something, and he's like, that's not appropriate, or something like that. And I'm like, okay, so are we going to go to battle? Because I feel like I've done everything else. I did a lot of little side quests and stuff like that.
You have to actually end your exploring time. So either you've used up all of your activities. At the very top, you'll see a number. And as you level up your professor, you can do more things, like whether it's meals with somebody or training or whatever.
I think I did all that.
Once that number goes down to 0, then you just hit your left shoulder button when the little prompt comes up, and you can end exploring for the day. Then it takes you back to the calendar. The only way to get to battle is when the little calendar, the little icon kind of moves over a day that actually has battles scheduled, essentially. Usually the end of each month. So and also at the end of each week, especially as you get past the first month or two, it's a lot of tutorial type stuff that sounds like you're still in. When it gets into a more regular schedule, every Saturday you get the choice between exploring the area, where you can walk around, find items, increase stats, go fishing, all that extra stuff. Or you can train. So you can have a seminar where you have a professor come in and up your stats because they have a specialty and they can give a seminar for everyone to learn something new. Or you can go to battle, and you usually have, sometimes you have a mission battle there, like a side mission, or it'll just have a random battle that doesn't cost you any like activity points, and you can just kind of grind a little bit to get some characters leveled up or whatever. So that's at the end of each week on Saturdays. But if you choose battle, then you can't explore that week. So you kind of have to pick and choose. It reminds me a little bit of the Little Life games, the Persona games, because you have to pick and choose how to spend your time and what you want to train up, and do relationships matter to you. By the way, there's not really any romantic relationships. There's plenty of innuendo throughout the game, but it's not like previous Fire Emblems where you actually fall in love.
So I'm not going to be able to hook up with the professor, at least the one.
You are not. No. You can increase.
Then why was she flirting with me?
And that will not end. The flirting will continue. Lots of innuendo, but they took out the actual, like, okay, now you're in love and you're going to get married stuff.
She actually just wants your money, Derek.
That is
just wants your money.
fine. I don't even care about feelings and all that stuff anymore. Let's just get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
She's a gold digger, man. Just you can do better. It's all right. You can do better.
I find myself,
I have
those of
no
you,
self-worth, Damon.
for anyone who's listening who plays this, I find myself kind of rotating through. I'll do explore one week, especially because it'll tell you, like, hey, there's some kind of mystery fishing thing happening or whatever. It'll kind of give you an idea of, hey, there's lots of stuff to do if you explore this time. So I'll rotate. Like, I'll explore one week, and then the next week I'll do a seminar to increase our stats. And the next week I'll do a bunch of battles to level up.
All right. So, Tim, important question.
Yeah, man.
Is that a picture of Sasan on your shirt?
This is my trophy husband shirt.
Oh.
Aw.
So that's what you look like naked. Okay. Great. Yeah. Okay.
For anyone who's just listening, I did not remove my clothing just now.
Derek's still imagining it, though.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
That's all he does.
That is true.
Takes off his shirt. He's imagining men taking off their shirts.
I'm at the point in my life where I'm questioning my sexuality right now.
Yeah.
Because everybody is telling me I'm gay, so I'm starting to believe
Well, yeah, it's because you've caused yourself to lose all feeling down there.
What is this, like the episode of The Office when Andy's like unsure if he's gay because the rumors going around?
Yeah, isn't that the one when he talks about, like, well, I don't know, like if Brad Pitt came up to me on a beach and started kissing me, I feel like I would resist at first.
Oscar's like, wait,
we had
Brad
this
Pitt would
conversation.
resist?
This is Groundhog's Day. We've had this conversation before. I know we have.
He's like, wait, Brad Pitt would resist? And he's like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
He's like, why would Brad Pitt resist you? Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm at.
We
All right,
digress.
let's get to the news.
We digress. There's not a lot to talk about. I do want to mention, just related to Wolfenstein, one of the frustrations I had was I like being able to play single-player games because a lot of times I can just pause them, do life-related stuff, and then come back to it, and nothing has changed. But when the game first launched, when you hit pause, everything continues in the background as if you're playing an online game. And that's even if you're playing offline. If you say, I want to host a match, but I want it to be offline, I don't want anyone to join me. So you've made it clear to the game, I'm not playing online, and they still won't let you pause. Well, they patched that because they got a lot of crit on that. So
dumb.
So that works. I can confirm. I tried it out today as I was wrapping up the game.
All games should allow you to do that. I don't understand.
Unless it's a persistent online experience, right. I agree.
Every game should let you pause, even in cutscenes, no matter what. Yep. Let me pause.
Absolutely.
Oh, I wanted to just share. I did buy a new 4K TV. So I already have one, but I bought it like 3 or 4 years ago. It's solid. I wouldn't say it's amazing. At the time, it was like it wasn't high end. It was mid range, but it was like the high end of mid range. It would probably be considered like low range now, I'm sure, as far as quality goes. So I was actually looking at TCL 6 series. I've been looking at it for months because TCL TVs. Daniel, do you have a 4K TV?
I don't.
Okay. So if you're actually interested in 4K, then you might want to pay attention to me because I know that's fine.
I'm always paying attention to you.
No, you don't.
Obviously.
So TCL is actually, they're another company that makes a lot of like mid-range 4K TVs. Well, I should say this. Their pricing is mid-range, but their quality is actually really high. Like most people, even, rtings.com, they always rate it, their TVs real high. And their 6 series is the latest one. So I kept my eye on it. You can go on like Best Buy, and I think the 55-inch is $500. I'm like, man, I really want this. And even at one point, they had it on sale for $450. I was like, oh, I need to get this. But basically, I held off. I didn't get it. And then I just randomly went on Dell.com because I have credit on there. And I saw that
the 55-inch?
Yeah. But Dell doesn't sell TCL, so that's why I was frustrated. Because that's the one I had already set myself to get. In fact, the reason I'm talking about TCL as well is because Dan Phillips just bought, I think he bought the TCL 4 series, but he got it for like $280, which for a 4 series, it's still a solid TV. 6 series is clearly superior. But I saw that Dell was actually having a deal, like a lot of deals, but the one I picked was actually a Vizio. It's the M55-8-G1 TV, and basically it's the M series, but they have an M7 or an M8, and I got the M8, which is the higher one, and the difference is actually like very big. Because like the M7s, like their dimmings are like there's only 20 areas on the TV that the lighting actually comes through. Like there's a bunch of differences, whereas mine's 90, so 20 to 90. There's a huge difference in lighting and and quality. Anyways, the deal was for $600, you get this TV that I think used to be like 1,000, 900 to 1,000. But also they gave me a $200 gift card, and then I also get rewards for using my credit card. So I'm going to get $35. So I'm getting $235 back. So I went ahead and did it because I was like, basically my net's $400. I know if I don't pay it off right away, I got to pay the interest and stuff. But I also get 6 months of no interest if I pay it off. So that's the goal. So anyways, I got this TV and I was doing some research on it, and it sounds like it's really high quality 4K TV. So the good news for those who are still looking to get 4K TVs is you can get a lot of really good TVs now for a reasonable price. And mine's still a little expensive. Like I said, Dan got one for $280. There's some really solid TVs. You just got to make sure you get the right brand. TCL is a good brand to get because they don't charge a lot. I think it's a Japan brand. They don't charge a lot, but their quality is just as high as some of your major brands that you would think like Sony would release. Those brands generally overpriced you. In fact, they were doing a comparison with the TCL 6 and stuff like that, and they were basically saying, as far as quality, my TV is the exact same. The only difference is TCL's some of the stuff that comes with it, the bells and whistles, stuff I don't care about, is a little bit better.
Well, and don't forget, we're just 3 months away from holiday deals hitting too. So if any of you are looking to get a TV deal, that's the time to grab it. But
anyways, I was just super excited. I wasn't planning on getting this.
Dell's
TV.
one of those places that I'd never look for TV, so that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, and they always have deals like this. They always have where their price is usually maybe like, for instance, if you go on Best Buy and look for the exact TV that I got, it's $570. So you go, well, Best Buy's cheaper. But Best Buy doesn't give me $200 back.
Yeah.
Dell does. So I was like, I'll pay the $30 extra, and I'll get my $200, which I'm just going to use probably to get. I can either probably get the new Switch, or I might just buy a bunch of Xbox currency to pre-order games with it. So.
Well, speaking of saving some money, if any of you want to give GameStop a little business before they completely disappear, between now and September 15th, you can go in there, bring your old Nintendo Switch, as long as it works, obviously, and your controllers aren't showing obvious drift problems. But you just take your base Nintendo Switch in there, and they'll give you $200 plus a bonus $25 through September 15th. And that really, if you plan on still keeping a Switch and you want a Switch and you like this idea of the upgraded battery life and maybe some new Joy-Cons that'll come with it, essentially you're upgrading for $75 to the. By the way, the battery life that they're saying it's increasing to is pretty significant.
Yeah.
The Switch I have, I still have my launch Switch, and the battery life is okay. But certain games, like I've noticed playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, can drain the battery relatively quickly. I mean, that's a pretty. I guess there's a lot happening in that game. Or like Fire Emblem can drain it pretty quickly. And of course, games like Zelda and Mario, it doesn't last much more than 2 hours maybe anymore for me. So all that to say, I might do this. Here's the catch. Not all GameStops are required to do anything to help you with transferring your data over, and that can be quite a process. So if you know you're going to do your shopping at GameStop, maybe you want to go ahead and get the new Switch now, come back, do the transfer, go in and get your $225. You can then use it on whatever. But anyway, you could always call ahead and find out if they'll help you with a transfer right there on site. It'll take a little while, though. So anyway, just wanted to throw that out there for any of you who are looking to upgrade to that better battery life. The performance is still the same. Don't think of this as a Pro or a Xbox One X type upgrade. The system, for the most part, isn't going to load any faster. Or
is it something you would personally be interested in, or do you not see $75?
Only because I'm noticing my Switch battery life isn't amazing. I'm thinking about doing it.
Yeah, but aren't you looking to get another Switch anyways just because of your children?
We got a second one. We got a used one.
Oh, okay.
For my son. So I'm actually thinking about taking his in there, since there's not a lot of stuff to transfer. We can just do cloud saves for him, and then letting him have my old one, and then getting myself. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm getting myself a new
Can't
one.
you just put everything on an SD card?
I actually don't know. I haven't looked up the
I think it
Switch
depends on the game,
process.
right?
Yeah. So my
It's
son
kinda
currently only has a handful of like the free to play downloaded games on his Switch, and then he borrows my actual cartridges to play some other stuff. What we're gonna do though, when I make the Switch, whenever this happens, no pun intended, is that we're gonna try the Nintendo game sharing thing, which I've heard that as long as the secondary system is connected to the internet, you can essentially access everything that the primary account has access to.
Yeah.
So my son, although he does sometimes take it to a friend's house or wherever else, even when he does that, he almost always has Wi-Fi around. So on the rare occasion he doesn't, he would be stuck with just whatever games he already owns. But as long as he's on Wi-Fi, he should be able to have access to all my games. And so we're going to try that whenever we make this switch. So anyway, just want to throw that out there. I think it's till September 15th that GameStop has this special running. So, and of course, you could always put it towards the Switch Lite, and that would cover you for the Switch Lite if that's what you decide to do. That would cover you for Switch Lite and give you $25.
I'm still thinking about getting the Switch Lite because I only use my current Switch docked. I never take it out, but that's also because I do have the broken controllers, the drifting controllers, and then my son has his own Switch, but I don't touch it. I mean, that's his. He always plays it in handheld, so I was thinking about getting the Switch Lite just so I had like a permanent handheld one. But then I'm like
your new Vita. Yeah.
But here's my thing. My issue is like, am I gonna use it? Like I thought, like when Fire Emblem came out, I was like, I'm gonna get hooked on this thing because I really did like it, and I played it for like an hour and a half.
And by the way, I think that's the big problem with the way they've structured Fire Emblem this time. It's the same barrier that people who, like me, who can't get into Persona games. There's a big barrier there of stuff to get through before you get to the real meat of the gameplay and can kind of just roll through it and really enjoy yourself. There's a lot to get through, so I can see why.
How dare you not like Persona 5? How dare you?
I like it, but there's a lot to get through. You gotta admit.
It got redundant.
You're redundant.
It was stupid.
Look at your dumb face.
Like I liked it a lot, and then I was just like, oh my god, like
Dan's last name is Persona.
Like I can't manage all this crap, like all this stuff they want me to manage. I'm like, this is work. This isn't a video game. I'm done. I'm out.
Yep. I do like that Fire Emblem lets you automate or skip pretty much all that stuff if you want to. So you don't have to ever do any of the gardening or cooking, or you don't have to do any of that stuff. You can ignore it all, or fishing even. You can just ignore that stuff. But anyway, we digress. By the way, Microsoft does have a statement about all their new studios they've acquired recently. People like Double Fine and Obsidian who have historically and even currently released games on multiple consoles, competing consoles even. And so when asked their official response to, hey, what are you going to do about competing consoles, their official response was, we're not close to it. Depends on what's best for the game. And I think a good example of that would be they completely own Minecraft. But when Phil Spencer was asked, why are you letting it stay on PlayStation, he was like, because a lot of Minecraft gamers like to play it on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So
smart.
Why not? And it's selling on PlayStation, so why not?
And that's really what he's talking about. If a game is going to be more successful, and I think he's leaving it open for the future. Let's keep in mind that Microsoft's definitely going more PC than PlayStation. So Xbox is going more PC than PlayStation. So I think he is leaving it open just in case, like, they are going to get to a place where everything's cross-save, everything's, like, if Sony has a fan base of 50 million and Xbox has a fan base of 10 million because they've gotten away from being really exclusive heavy, they're more mixed in with PC and Nintendo and all that stuff, then yeah, it's a no-brainer that you would keep Minecraft on a system that has 50 million players.
Right. You
don't want to leave them out. And I think that's why he's leaving that open. Because he's like, we're not going to leave money on the table just so we can say, we have Minecraft as an exclusive. But guess what? None of you guys really care that it's an exclusive on this because we also have the ability to play all our games on PC. So a lot of people aren't buying Xbox anymore. Like, I know, I wouldn't say it's common, but I think it's getting a little bit more common that gamers are buying PCs now because they are becoming easier to use. I know for me personally, I was scared to invest in the PC because I was like, what if the games don't work? Like, what if I buy a game and it says it just black screens me? Because those are issues. They're not an issue now. Like, I never have that issue. It's also very easy access. It's getting even easier. So I think that's why he leaves it open, is because he knows the exclusivity thing is going to go away. I think it's going to go away.
Yeah, they're the first company to really start thinking away from what can drive hardware sales. Every other company is thinking that, and Microsoft, I mean, out of necessity, absolutely, right? Because they're getting trounced, especially by the PS4.
All right.
So there's certainly that aspect, but also they seem to have been shifting this way already, even before getting lambasted. But anyway,
well, PlayStation's their strong suit is their exclusives, so I don't see them wanting to do that unless they start dipping hard, in the next console cycle. So
I agree with that. Sony's strong suit is their exclusive. So then, what would be Microsoft's strong suit when it comes to Xbox specifically?
Nothing. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I think
they're online.
The brand,
Xbox Live.
Yeah, it's the brand and it's the multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean they had the leg up with Xbox Live initially, but I feel like other networks have copied the right pieces, and they've also got great. Like PSN is great now. So
yes, but I think we're gamers, so I'm not thinking as a soccer mom at this point, or I should say like a teenager who maybe they're into games but they don't know it is hardcore. Like, for instance, I'll use my son Eli. He does not care about PlayStation at all. He only cares about Xbox because that's the main brand he knows. Because he goes Xbox. What's the game that he loves? The stupid game.
Fortnite.
He's like, even though he knows Fortnite's everywhere, he just thinks Xbox.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Where his brain goes. So I think for him, that's multiplayer, the brand. That still matters. It's still relevant. But as hardcore gamers, it's becoming less relevant because we put more emphasis on, hey, yeah, we can play together on every system. What do you got to offer on yours that these other guys don't? Like, even like old school Derek would have probably bought Google Stadia right away, or even the next Xbox and PlayStation. I don't even know if I'm going to get them. I probably will, but I'm also like, unless you have something exclusive, why would I? Like, if Xbox is going to come out and say everything we release is going to be on PC, they're going to still do that. If the new Xbox is not more powerful than my PC, there's zero reason unless I want it for comfort.
Yeah, man, just get that Game Pass Ultimate, and you're all set on PC.
Yep, which I started using.
Yep, I gotcha. So yeah, I think that's a smart move for them. It totally makes sense. Speaking of getting some annoying things out of the way, we talked about how Youngblood fixed their pausing issue. Bethesda also patched the re-releases of Doom 1 through 3, which, by the way, really fun, really, really great old-school flashback games. I love those, and they're pretty cheap. But they fixed it to where you no longer are required to log in with your Bethesda account. They never intended, they claim, that to be a requirement to even play. They just wanted it to be something that popped up at the beginning, and if you didn't want to do it, get rid of it. It's fine. But when it launched, you had to create an account or log in with your account.
Yeah,
so apparently now it's you can get it out of the way if you don't want to do that. So there you go. By the way, you guys, I don't know if you've played these, but the old 3 Doom games are still really fun to play. They all 3. Maybe some of it's nostalgia for the first one.
Yeah.
But second one is great. I had never really gotten.
They still play good because when I played the original Doom on the Xbox 360, so this is about 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah, they're really fun.
I was like, dude, this is still fun to play, just the way it moves, the shooting, all that stuff. Now, would I rather play Doom 2016? Yeah.
Of course.
But it's still good.
Doom 3 is pretty fun, too, and has some pretty good... I mean, even though it's a little more of a survival horror, a lot of jump scares, but it's pretty fun. I like it. So I do recommend those. All right. We want to wrap up our time here together, not talking about tight pants or anything else like that, but I do want to wrap it up talking about some of our currently our favorite gaming genres. And it's funny, as I was looking up basically what are the quote-unquote official gaming genres, there's really no single source of truth for that. So
it gets a little complicated too.
it gets really complicated. So, I mean, you could go down very, very specific. You know, it could be like, I want to play a role-playing shooter simulation game with strategy elements. It's like, well, that exists probably, but I'm not sure that that's a broad category. So I'm just kind of leaving it open. I don't really care. We're not setting up solid rules for this. So whatever you want to do. Some of the broader ones would be stuff like, this is an action game. This is a fighting game. You know, this is a racing game. Sure. But I think for me specifically, I look at like some of my, I'll just go ahead and give you my first one to get things kicked off. One of my favorites is action adventure RPG. That combination right there. That's one of my favorites, because that includes this. The assumption that I have when I hear that genre is it's going to include good combat, a lot of exploration, and role-playing elements of some kind. So those three elements really make up my favorite genre at the moment. So that'd be one of my favorites right now. What about you guys?
So like an Assassin's Creed Odyssey?
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, yep, exactly. The Witcher 3. Like, those games all fall into that category.
Sure.
That's actually my number one. It would be the action adventure RPG.
Yeah.
Because all my favorite games, usually every year, it's usually one of those. They're always top 5. Like, The Witcher 3 is probably, I mean, Rocket League is the game I put the most time in, but we've talked about this before in previous shows. There's not an emotional connection to Rocket League. It's just fun. There's an emotional connection that I create with, like, The Witcher and Bloodborne and stuff like that. And to me, Witcher 3 is probably the game of this generation. And so that's why, I love Dragon Age Inquisition. I love all the Dragon Age games. I would put Mass Effect franchise in the action RPG realm. And so to me, that's my favorite genre.
Sure.
What about you, Daniel?
Well, I think you guys can guess, but I suppose I'll just throw it out there.
I want to hear you say it.
You're the best looking guy here.
I love role-playing games. I like to role-play.
You like, specifically, you like Japanese trash role-playing games.
Yeah, is it specific to JRPGs, or do you kind of have a broader interest?
Obviously, it definitely leans more towards that, but as
just so you can be different from us, you'll just say you like JRPGs.
No, but I mean, as PS3 came about, and more of the Western RPGs like Fallout, and Dragon Age, then, you know, once those kind of started coming around, I was like, oh, okay, so there's something a little different than just Japanese RPGs, which during the PS3 era were actually not super great. So there was not a lot going on there in that department. But all the way back to Super Mario RPG, which was my first RPG I ever played, which I didn't even actually realize what the RPG even meant, like what it stood for, what that aspect even actually like meant. And then as I got older and I started playing Final Fantasy and, you know, Chrono Trigger and all sorts of actual, you know, very deep RPGs, Japanese ones.
That was, for me, it was, I think I've shared the story on the show before, but it would probably be one of our early episodes, like the first 5. And that was, I remember, my brother's a big Star Wars fan. I remember Knights of the Old Republic was coming out, and all I knew about it was that it was going to be like this game where you made your own decisions, and I had conceived in my head that it was like this open area, not open world, because I didn't even understand open world back then, like open area where I could do anything. I could be light or dark, which that is how the game was advertised. But when I thought of I could do anything, I meant I could just beat the crap out of everybody. Sure. And I thought it was going to, I thought in my head basically it was GTA, but with a Star Wars skin. Yeah. And I also thought it was going to be like real-time action. So when I bought the game and started playing it, and I'm like pushing a button, my guy's just standing there like this. Yeah. And then I see these little numbers, or you missed, and I'm like, but I'm literally standing 2 inches from you going like this. Why are you saying I missed?
Yeah.
And so I was like, what the hell is this crap? Like,
So was that your first RPG with turn-based combat?
Yeah, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
not even
Okay.
real. I mean, it is turn-based, but you're still
Yeah.
moving.
Dude, I had the
Um,
exact same thought. My first turn-based, it was a JRPG. I saw Final Fantasy 6 or 3 at the time on Super Nintendo.
Yep.
One of my friends was playing it when we got to their house, and I watched him go into a battle, and his little character would take like 4 steps forward and go like this with the sword, like just out in the middle of the air. Enemies way over on the other side of the screen, and the enemy's like, oh, and it has these numbers that pop up.
I had seen JRPGs before, and I know I shared this in the early
just to be clear, I did not like that when I first saw it. I was like, this is ridiculous.
My cousin was the one that wanted me to buy Final Fantasy VII with my birthday money. I shared this story, and so I bought that. But I had played on the SNES. Yes, SNES. I had played
the what?
The SNES.
I
I had played some of the JRPGs on there because of him. But I didn't like them. The only one that I thought was cool was Secret of Mana because it was co-op and it was action. Which again, back then I didn't understand. I was just like, it actually did everything when I pushed the button. So, but when I played Final Fantasy VII, when I first booted up and we're going through it, and my cousin's sitting there and I'm sitting there and I'm watching him play and I'm like, what? Why did you have me buy this? This is garbage. I gave him the game. I was like, I don't want this. I was mad at him. I'm like, this is stupid. And I never played it. I was just like, this is a dumb game. And that's my reaction with Coder. Anyways, I was telling the story because that was my first reaction to those games, but now they're my favorite. Like, I prefer the action now. I don't really like turn-based RPGs anymore. I can't get into them as like I used to be able to. But action RPGs, like those role-playing games, those single-player experiences with epic stories, epic characters, epic everything. That's what I like. That's easily my favorite. I would say my second favorite would probably be your third-person action adventure shooters. So that you would think like Uncharted, Tomb Raider, those type of games are probably my second favorite genre. I get excited when I see that stuff. Like, again, I don't know much about the new Star Wars game coming out, but when I look at that, that's what I think of. I think of like that third-person action game. I know it's going to have role-playing elements as well because, again, everything's like mixed up now. But that's the stuff I get excited for.
Yeah,
so
something like Uncharted wouldn't really have any. Even though it is an adventure experience, it's not as open world. It's not as you don't really like map out the progression of your character. So I see what you're saying. There is a difference. Yeah.
But
although Tomb Raider, you can maybe make an argument goes under either.
It still has upgrades.
Tomb Raider's definitely way more open for sure. The newer ones.
Open and RPG like, but I follow what you're saying. Those are different genres when it comes down to it. One's a very certain mood. That makes sense. Well, my second favorite's going to have to be turn-based strategy. So whether that's Fire Emblem, Wargroove is one of my favorite from this year. I'll say it again, and this is not to troll Derek. It's really not. But the sequel to Tiny Metal is essentially Advance Wars. That's exactly what it is. It's amazing. It's fantastic, and it's pretty cheap too. I think it's only like $12-13. But that type of game, turn-based, where you can kind of decide where your units are supposed to go, position them correctly on the battlefield. It's very RPG heavy, lots of customization. I loved Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre. I loved all that kind of stuff. And so that genre I loved 20 years ago, and that genre I still love today. But I probably, if you would have asked me this 15, 20 years ago, I probably would have said turn-based RPGs, primarily JRPGs. I probably would have said that then. But just like with Derek, I think my tastes have changed over the years as games themselves have evolved, and I've much prefer the action-adventure RPG, and then for the take-your-time strategic stuff, I much prefer the kind of show me the whole battlefield and let me control the whole army type of
That's funny, though, because it's like those are even more time-consuming than like
for sure
turn-based RPG.
Right.
Like there's more tedium, it's more patience.
Unless it's something unique like Into the Breach, which is very pick-up-and-play turn-based RPG or turn-based strategy.
What is it, Valkyria Chronicles?
Yeah, that
Something
one's
like
interesting. That. That one's very. That's a weird
unique
combination of because sometimes you actually aim and shoot, but it is also turn-based. Yeah. And it's cover-based too. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my second favorite. Daniel, what else outside of RPGs? Open up a little bit. Share with us. What is it? Because I don't think there's anything else you like, right?
I don't think I can't. No, that's pretty much it. Yeah, just I like to role play. I like to.
You
play
Rocket League. You Rocket League with us.
I do.
I would put that under competitive sports, but if it's the only game he likes in that, then...
Well, like, it's tough because, like, so I was just thinking just now, I'm like, The Last of Us is, like, my third favorite game of all time, but when I think of as a genre as a whole, I'm thinking of, like, action games. I'm thinking of, like, Devil May Cry's. I'm thinking of, like, Bayonetta's. Games like that.
Just
like
pure action game. Yep.
Like since with PS2 back, like when Onimusha, the first
You
Onimusha.
could probably say beat 'em up games for that.
Yeah.
To get away from like separate it from like Uncharted and Tomb Raider, which are your third-person adventure games.
Yeah. Well, to me, like I just think of those as just straight up action. Like I don't even call them anything else. Those are just action games to me. Like Onimusha, Devil May Cry, and from the PS2 era, like. Because Onimusha 1 was my first PS2 game, and I was obsessed with that game. I love that series. And then Devil May Cry came out, and then God of War. But God of War was definitely like more towards open worlds than Onimusha and Devil May Cry.
Yep.
So, but I guess as a genre as a whole, I would say probably those. Even though again, I love Last of Us more than most games, but I wouldn't call Last of Us an action game. So
yeah, I would say, at least in my experience with it, I was stealthy more than I was attacking in Last of Us.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like more of a third-person adventure game almost.
Yeah.
With some action elements.
With some stealth, with some
stealth, right?
That's a kind of hodgepodge of things, but
right. Yeah,
I like action games. I'm a big fan. I really wish Onimusha as a series would come back. I don't know how the HD remaster of the first one
Warlords or whatever.
Yeah. I don't think it did well, so maybe that doesn't bode well for the future of them rebooting it or whatever.
Capcom could surprise us still. You never know.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, kind of like how they did with Resident Evil 7. It was like, oh, wait, what's this? It's Resident Evil? Oh, it's first person? So, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, and even bringing back Devil May Cry 5, kind of rethinking that series and yet still keeping it, for the most part, a really pure action game. They did add a good amount of upgradable RPG type stuff in it, but overall it's just all about mashing those buttons as fast as you can.
Well, that's what I love about those too, because like with Devil May Cry, you are upgrading things in an RPG type of fashion. You're upgrading weapons,
and you pick which ones to upgrade.
Yeah, and they visually look different. And same in Onimusha, you have your weapons that you're upgrading, and they actually look visually different as you're upgrading them. Right. And that Metroidvania style environments, unlocking areas and then finding things to go back and so on and so forth. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned Metroidvania. That actually has become my third favorite. That could be on a side-scrolling platforming type of a game, or it could be in your Batman Arkham series type of a game.
Yeah.
Where you receive the right ability or the right item, or even Zelda in some ways, where you receive the right item, you can now access an area you couldn't before. I've always loved that because I just feel like that provides a great progression to the game. And so I've always really appreciated that. So I've grown to really love those games, whether it's a side-scrolling thing like Sundered or Ori, or whether it's a full-on 3D one like the Batman series. I love that Metroidvania, and that could be mixed with a bunch of different styles. Again, it could be side-scrolling platforming primarily, it could be 3D action adventure, or even action RPG. But I love the Metroidvania aspect to a lot of games. That's my third favorite, I think.
Yeah.
Derek, what about you?
I think for me, and this is kind of a hard one, I'm just going to say first-person shooters. I was going to say sports games, but I've kind of gotten away from it. Rocket League's the only one I play a lot. Every once in a while I'll play, the NBA games, or today I was playing FIFA because I watched a lot of soccer today. But I would say first-person shooters, your Halos, your Doom, Wolfenstein, Destiny. I enjoy those games. I just enjoy third-person more, so that's why I put the action adventure shooters ahead of it, because when I think of that, I think of third-person games.
Yeah.
So for this,
first-person is right behind that Metroidvania one for me. Doom and Wolfenstein and Far Cry, those games have all brought it back to the center for me, so I'm with you. But
Yep.
Daniel, what about you?
Graphic novels. Yeah, I like graphic novels. I love reading.
I love David Cage games. I just really love the stories he weaves.
What about dating sims? Can we get into those?
Yes, absolutely. The one with Derek in it. I want that one.
That you do.
Him and Sasan.
You're not the first.
Sasan and Derek try love.
One piece of this guy.
But I don't know. I guess maybe it might be. This seems like a cheap thing, but it might be a tie between like kind of open world games and then whatever you would call Last of Us. Like Last of Us, I guess would kind of fall in like maybe Uncharted because there is shooting, but like there's more sneaking around in Uncharted. So, but like story-heavy games, I like story-heavy games, which also I guess would kind of apply to role-playing games, but the gameplay is different. So,
do you still like the story-heavy games that don't really shine when it comes to gameplay, or does it need to really be fun to play?
Yeah, I can forgive a game for being not the best gameplay-wise, kind of like I was mentioning Vesperia earlier, Tales of Vesperia. Like the gameplay is old and kind of slow, but I'm liking the story a lot so far. So I'm completely fine with the fact that the gameplay is like a 7 out of 10.
Gotcha.
Maybe even a smidge less, to be honest. But yeah, like Uncharted is fantastic. I love The Last of Us. I like what's that third-person shooter game that was on PS3 where you're out in the desert and you think you're fighting bad guys, but he's actually...
Oh, the Line?
Yeah, Spec Ops, there we go.
Spec Ops The Line, yeah.
Yeah, kind of games like that, too. Yeah. I mean, and that's story-heavy, so I guess that would fall in line with that, too. Just that's a fantastic game. That game has wonderful twists.
Yeah,
good game, if you haven't played that, anybody. So
Agreed. And I mean, this conversation is kind of interesting, too, because I go through waves where all I want to do is shoot a ton of enemies. So I just want first-person shooter. Sometimes I just want to kind of sit quietly and really think through a strategic game. And sometimes I'm even down with Picross. I just want a puzzle game. Yeah. And there's other times that I just want a story and I don't want to have to be, on the edge of my seat, pulling the trigger at the right moment. So I just want to play a Telltale adventure game or something. So yeah. I do go through waves with some of these, but those three are typically the ones that if a new game releases in that genre and it's well received, it's probably going to get some attention from me at least.
I've been trying to do that more because there was a stint there where there was like 3 like open world three open world games that I was playing back to back. I think it was around like when Witcher 3 came out. There was like Witcher 3 and then maybe an Assassin's Creed, I don't remember, and then like something else, and I got burnt out so hard that I was like, all right, I need to start like switching up the games, the genres of games that I'm playing in order of succession, because I'm going to start hating this one genre, and I don't want to do that. So
that's why I like games like Marvel Ultimate Alliance. It's a good palate cleanser, arcade experience. Yeah, I like.
Or indies, kind of stuff. Right, Derek?
Or indies. Dude, you're the one. We didn't suggest anyone buy any indie games this episode. We didn't say that.
Not at all.
Yeah, that was all you.
I think those games are really AAA.
I think secretly Derek's favorite genre is indies.
Absolutely.
That's his number one favorite.
New podcast segment, Indie Corner with Derek.
You guys can start whatever you want because I'm probably going to retire soon. I mean, how many more shows can we have with me going, oh, I don't like games?
At this point, no one believes you. It's just for attention. So it's fine.
I kind of want a segment where Derek's like, he has like a fancy robe on, he has a pipe, and then he's by a fireplace, and he's like, let me tell you about the new indies. And he just kind of, in a deep, sexy voice.
Question.
Yep.
Do I have to wear underwear while I'm wearing that?
I mean, you're wearing a robe, so.
And then he keeps like slowly uncrossing and recrossing his legs.
Yeah,
and we're like, dude, stop.
Yep. And then he just goes, all of this will be yours.
Sounds like my life at home. I mean, I just walk around naked half the time, and there's all of them. Every one of them are like, dude, put pants on.
You Teagues are a problem.
Yeah, I can't figure out why your kid's not respecting more. I don't know.
No respect. You get no respect.
Well, guys, thank you for staying up so late. I know it's after midnight your time, so we can wrap it up. Thanks for taking time to talk, Daniel and Derek. And Derek, who knows, man? If this is your last episode, good job. Well done.
All right, thanks. That was so sincere. You.
Good note to end on with indies. Good note.
It was great. It was great meeting you, Derek. Goodbye, and have a nice life.
His legacy is go buy indie games. That's really how you left it.
Yeah.
So
Happy
Enjoy
birthday,
your
big.
night, parents. You
Happy
crop.
birthday, big guy.
Crap.
I bought you some indie games for your birthday, by the way.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it.
oh yeah,
happy
Derek.
birthday to me.
Derek just had a big birthday. That's right. Just turned. What was it? Was it 47 or was it 48? I forget.
Oh wow.
147.
I legit look 32, but I am 40.
Yeah.
40.
There's a big one.
It is. It's kind of heartbreaking. I can't believe I'm 40.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you know
Still
what
act
they say.
like,
As
I
the
still act like I'm 18 now.
you know what they say. As the age goes up, the pant size goes down. So that's what they say.
It's usually not what happens, and I doubt anybody ever says that. Most people get fatter as they get older, but
Sure.
That's true.
You're
that's
proving
your
them
future,
wrong.
Daniel. That's your future.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Size
All right.
50 pants.
So I'm signing off here for Tim, Daniel, and Benjamin Button. We'll I'll talk to you guys later.
Oh,
Okay.
before you sign off, Princess, you're gonna have to show me how to send my file because it's been too long, my friend.
Who is your daddy?
I am the Father.
You fathers will understand.
My father taught me many things.
I got an idea. How about you all sit there quietly while I make dad noises?